Welcome to deep space. Air travel has become an essential part of our daily lives, connecting countries and reducing distances in astonishing ways. However, sometimes things can take a different turn. On a dark winter night, December 29, 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 took off from John F. Kennedy Airport in New York, heading to Miami, Florida. The aircraft, a Lockheed 1011, also known as the TriStar, was one of the famous commercial planes designed by Lockheed in the 1970s. Entering service for the first time in 1970, it was considered one of the leading aircraft of its generation, due to its advanced technology and innovative specifications. The TriStar was distinguished by its unique three-wing design and its ability to fly long distances efficiently. It was capable of providing a comfortable and safe travel experience for passengers, making it a popular choice for many airlines of that time. The aircraft was carrying 163 passengers and 13 crew members. Captain Bob Loft, 55 years old, with 29,700 flying hours. First Officer Bert Stockstill, 39 years old, with 5,800 flying hours. And Flight Engineer Don Repo, 51 years old, with no flying hours. 15,700 flying hours. The flight appeared to be routine, but its fate would turn out to be more dramatic than anyone could imagine. The flight began smoothly. The aircraft climbed to its assigned altitude, and passengers were preparing to reach their warm destination at the end of the year. The crew monitored everything closely and began preparing the aircraft for landing. As they approached Miami Airport, clearance for landing was granted, and the crew started preparing for descent. However, at that moment, an unexpected problem arose. The nose gear indicator light did not illuminate. This light indicated that the nose gear was properly lowered, and its failure to light up was not a good sign. Captain Robert Loft, an experienced pilot, and his first officer, Albert Stockstill, sensed the gravity of the situation. They decided to try to resolve the issue. They began checking and resetting the system, but the light did not turn on. Meanwhile, the crew did not realize that this minor issue would lead to a disaster. The autopilot, which was maintaining the aircraft at a constant altitude, was inadvertently disabled. Without the autopilot, the crew did not adequately monitor the other flight controls. The aircraft, which was flying at an altitude of 2,000 feet, began to descend gradually without the crew noticing. Their focus on the nose gear light issue caused them to overlook altitude monitoring. As the aircraft headed toward the Everglades swamps, time quickly moved toward disaster. When the crew realized what was happening, it was too late. At 11:42 p.m., the aircraft crashed into the ground amidst darkness and swamps. The wreckage scattered in all directions, with water and mud covering the entire site. It was a shocking moment, with the aircraft exploding and turning into scattered pieces, and the sounds of the crash were loud and terrifying. Rescue teams, who arrived at the scene shortly after, faced enormous challenges. The dark swamps and muddy waters made searching for survivors extremely difficult. While some passengers were pulled from the wreckage, rescue operations were intense and challenging under the conditions they faced. Of the 176 people on board, only 75 survived. The rest, including Captain Loft and Engineer Don Repo, perished in this horrific disaster. Investigations following the incident revealed that the crew was so focused on the nose gear light issue that they neglected to monitor the primary flight controls. This distraction and neglect led to the loss of control of the aircraft, and the flight quickly turned into a disaster. But the mystery did not end there. Shortly after the accident, reports of strange sightings began to emerge. The ghost stories associated with Flight 401 started after the tragic accident that occurred in December 1972. Many people who worked on other Lockheed TriStar 1011 aircraft reported strange sightings of the ghosts of Flight 401's crew. Here are some of the most notable stories. Ghosts in the cockpit. Some pilots and crew members reported seeing the ghosts of Captain Robert Loft and Engineer Don Repo suddenly appear in the cockpit. In some cases, it was said that these ghosts would warn the crews about potential technical issues or offer advice on how to handle problems with the aircraft. Ghosts in the aisles. Some passengers and crew members on other aircraft of the same model claimed they saw ghosts resembling the Flight 401 crew wandering the aisles. Sometimes it was reported that these apparitions would appear suddenly and then disappear without any clear explanation. Ghosts in various locations. It was reported that the ghosts appeared in different locations on the aircraft, such as the cabin or crew quarters. In one case, another aircraft crew said they felt the presence of invisible figures alongside them during flight, causing them anxiety and fear. Warnings of malfunctions. One of the strangest stories is that some crews received unexpected warnings about technical malfunctions on the aircraft. Some pilots who experienced these unusual warnings believed that the ghosts were trying to help them avoid similar issues to those that led to Flight 401's crash. These stories remain a topic of controversy and intrigue, raising questions about what really happened after the accident and contributing to the growing mystery surrounding Flight 401.